You get all bummed out. We're like, nah.
I'm done with this.
I'm in a hurry. I've got a very important phone call to make.
Yeah, man, we're just here at the Sunset Room again. One of our favorite places to hang out,
Relax a little bit, go and
talk.
get a little recap of, I guess, of sports and local
Whatever,
topics,
man.
because there hasn't been too many remotes of late. There hasn't been too much Sedano and Cap of late.
Yeah, they're a little MIA, man, and you notice when they're gone that the circle of trust kind of turns into little cannibals and they start
like-
cannibalizing themselves.
It's like the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
It's definitely been a little different. Hopefully after this week, right, that they'll be back. I know there was the Power Hour they had yesterday.
It was more like a power 45 minutes because I don't count the the crosstalk.
Right.
They kind of spills over for like 15 minutes.
Right.
So for a full Sedano and Cap it was about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And it went by quick. Mm-hmm. So, I didn't realize how long it had been until Cappy was ready to recap Yacht Rock, which happened like
Last week, right? Last weekend.
Yeah, man. So,
But there's been the NCAA finals with
that's right.
They had the men's and the women's. So I guess that kept us engaged, kept us entertained.
I'll be honest, I've never watched the women's NCAA championship. And maybe I've kind of peeked at it but this is the first time I watched the whole game, and man, it was great.
Had you watched any of the ones prior, or just the championship game?
Just more or less the championship game, and even with that, not the whole game.
Right.
But this time, I'm like everybody else. I mean,
Yeah, I was definitely caught in in that intrigue of watching Caitlin Clark, because to be honest with you, I didn't really know much about her. Like I've heard a lot about her. I've seen a lot of the highlights about her. But I never really watched a lot of her game. Watched, here and there overall college women's basketball, but it was definitely cool to see the intrigue and how we discuss it as men, because I guess there's kind of that thing trying to get more men to be entertained or engaged with it. So to have like the main shows, the national shows, having these long discussions and segments about Caitlin Clark going against Angel Reese, or the whole.
Definitely a lot of star power, a lot of talent. I mean, we're at the point now where you don't even see a women's game, kind of. You just see the competition, the sport, and I think that's what makes people most interested now is that the level of play is like really high now.
Yeah, like that's something that I notice is, especially with the women, I know they talk about the athleticism and but from a tactical standpoint and running systems, I feel I see more offense or more like systems, more plays, more like you can see the intricacies of what they're doing from a fundamental standpoint. And I think that can be entertaining. I think that's more entertaining a lot of times than kind of seeing the same redundant type of play where guys are just chucking up threes. Or
what do you think about people saying that women should play in the NBA, not the WNBA, but kind of like in the NBA with the players?
Well, I remember Kobe a while ago when he was alive, that there could be women who'd be able to, cross over and play. I still, I don't close that door completely, but I also think women's college basketball especially, it seems to garner a lot of attention. It seems to garner a real loyalty and fan support. And I just wish that could carry on to the WNBA.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. Like, I like them separate, not because I don't think women should play with men. I mean, the women's NBA hasn't had any attention, and now it's blowing up. And why take that business model and push it over to the men's? Like, let them have two separate business models. Let them both thrive. Let them both get popular. And as they reach the level of success of the men's, then maybe we talk about put them in, mixing them up a little bit, but
or even in the all-star events or something like
that'd
that.
be great. Talk about the physical aspect. There's debate on that, like could they even make it with the men's? And I'm thinking, wow, that Caitlin Clark's really good, but you look at somebody like Steph Curry's, who's considered a small guy, and then you put him next to Caitlin Clark, and he looks bigger.
Right.
So now you're imagining like
Right.
her with these really big guys. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of debate there, but I'm sure time will tell, and we'll be able to see what happens.
Especially with the ratings that it got, right? The women's championship game was like 18 million viewership or something like that. Yeah. The men's haven't come out yet. I'm sure it will be a little bit higher, maybe less, but it's gonna be.
That'll be interesting. If they can stay right there with the men's or even beat the men's, because I think maybe we'll see when the ratings come out. I think the men's might have dropped a little bit, because I usually watch the men's, and I really didn't watch it this time.
Yeah.
And that was because UConn, like, they're so powerful. Like, I kind of knew they were. I think everybody knew they were gonna win, and then once they start blowing out a team, you kind of just turn it off.
They showed a stat. They had the highest margin of like differential. Basically, all the teams that had played that went on their Final Four or finals run to win the championship, like UConn had the largest differential. Yeah, like they really just showcased their dominance, and I think as much as we like to see the upsets, I do think that not having like the Dukes in there, not having like even UCLA or Arizona, more of the pristine programs that are usually in that mix, and not to take anything from Purdue. I mean, the two number ones were in the championship, so
yeah, at least that first half was kind of close. So, and then that second half is where
it just
blowing. And I'm just going by what I was seeing in social media. Like I said, I wasn't watching the game, but you can see the shift just kind of.
UConn just looks so good, man. Like the way the way their guys are just seem to be incredibly versatile. They have really good high basketball IQ. They just seem to virtually do it all: rebound, pass, score, make threes. They could drive. They had like depth. They can bring in bench guys.
We got some women's NBA saying, well, wait till Caitlin Clark comes over here. It's not going to be as easy as she thinks. And so watching how all that's going to play out, I'm all for it.
I just really hope that it can maintain the level of support and intrigue, because again, like what I've noticed is the college women's basketball game, they do a great job of shining on those stars, really kind of illustrating them and portraying them, and you get to really build a connection with them and this fan support. And unfortunately, when they do move on to the WNBA, it does get kind of diluted with, because you're right, there's a lot of talent in the WNBA, but just the kind of emphasis of showcasing them it's not really the same as it is in college. You're getting commercial after commercial, even having Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi. They were kind of like the Eli Manning version of you don't really see that in WNBA, even in their playoff format or anything. Like, I feel, if anything, maybe this is something they can take from what the women's college basketball does, their foundation, their template, maybe integrate some of those things, so you can start to get more excitement. Because I do think, people want to watch. People want to watch.
I'm definitely going to watch more games. I mean, the championship's a given, but I want to see how it plays out and watch these stars as they emerge. And hopefully we keep that where we keep having superstars and women's college basketball, and we keep seeing new ones come out.
I think we should go ahead and make it a sided poll. We should do, in the next 5 years, which sport will be the most popular sport? Will it be the women's college basketball, or will it be the men's college basketball?
Yeah, that's a great sided poll, man.
Yeah.
It's a great sided poll, The sided.co.
Sided.co.
Right? Download the app, right? An Android, iPhone, Sided. So check it out and You know, maybe we're gonna do a poll. Maybe
Yeah,
every week.
they do. Yeah, we're gonna start integrating more polls on there and getting a way to get more interaction and engagement from people, because it's a really cool method to, to curate your own customized topics. Like you mentioned, politics, entertainment, technology, currency, whatever is the case, and you can craft it. And it's cool just to see what people's intrigues are outside of the sports realm. Like I know sports is a way to kind of detach us from the other stuff, but it is,
Here's what I think people should talk more. It's a big taboo subject, politics. I don't know what happened, but everybody's scared to talk politics now. And I think it's important that we start discussing politics. You know, it's become so polarizing that
tribalistic,
right,
man.
and it's just like, my party can do no wrong and your party does everything wrong. We all know that's not realistic. There's a lot of shenanigans going on in both parties, a lot of good things going on in both parties, but there definitely has to be a more discussion about politics. And I think politics keeps going downhill because we keep avoiding it. So then of course they're going to keep doing what they're doing because we're not even paying attention.
Right. I've kind of coined it as the WWE of politics, because they put on this great show, right? They put on this performance to really make you feel like things are really truly divided amongst us. But then they step off out of the ring and they're like, "Hey, Mitch, with it. Hey, you really sold that last bit. Hey, Nancy Pelosi, I'm gonna need a little more venom on that next take, okay?" At the end of the day, they're all part of the 1% that these things don't impact them.
Right.
And it's all about maintaining their level of position, maintaining their level of power and access. And the greatest way to maintain those things is to keep us divided.
Once people pick a side, they won't budge, man. Like, damn, no matter what their party does, their political leader does, they won't budge, man. They won't see it.
Right.
And vice versa. So, yeah, you got to be able to see the faults on both sides. And politics we need to start talking more politics. And that's the only way we're going to fix what's going on, because whatever's happening right now, it's not working, man.
Yeah, and I think because there's also a lot of our ideals, I feel like much like a Venn diagram, you have those portions that obviously like will have the differences, but a lot of it is interloped, intertwined. And I like to think that a lot of us are almost more centric minded than far right or far left.
It should be like sports, man. I mean, you got Lakers fans, you got Clippers fans, Dodgers fans, Padres fans. They still hang out, they still have beers. They don't take it personal.
Right.
And politics is just cross that line, man.
I think a lot of it, though, has to do with information
Right.
in general. And unfortunately, there's just a lot of misinformation, regardless
Correct.
of where you want to say it's coming from, which side. I think having the social media, having these access, it's a good thing, but it's kind of made us a little bit lazy in really investigating what it is that we're consuming as information. Like, I mean, for example, like you get caught up on those burner accounts,
Right.
the Woj account that throws out some false, and you get sucked into it. It's real easy to get sucked. So that's why you gotta kind of take your time, take a few moments, backtrack your sources, make sure it's legit before. But we see the information, it's like, we want to jump on it, and especially if it aligns with what
Right.
we're trying to convey.
No matter what parties, your party or affiliation, Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian, whatever, we gotta just lower.
I think everyone would agree if Crypto Ray was the president and had the
man.
COT as the first order of business, I think the world would be a lot more united.
Yeah, but the skeletons, bro. The skeletons in the closet, man. Stuff you don't want out there.
That's
it all
true,
comes
bro.
out, man. What we would agree on is that we gotta change the age limits, man. We gotta have some age limits. We can't be going on 80, 90, 100, running for
Some
office.
age terms.
Yeah, age terms. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. We need some young, fresh blood in there, man.
Especially with outside of the presidency, these mofos can run until they bury them in like their suits because there's no terms. They can just keep running.
Most of them have been in politics their whole life. They've never run a business, never had a job. Some of them a real job. I mean, it is crazy.
Right.
It's just crazy. So yeah.
I mean, that's just one thing like that they can start with, just setting an age terms or just limit in general.
Yeah, I don't know what would be a good age limit. Shoot.
Maybe what, like 65?
Yeah, that'd probably be another good sided poll.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. What do you guys think would be a good age if we set the terms? All right. We're not trying to be ageist. We're trying to establish an avenue where we can keep people in tabs, keep them crisp, keep ideals crisp, keep them, and more importantly, be able to get more voices in the mix. Because sometimes your voice gets stagnant. Your message it's no longer translucent to what the times are. So what would be a good age limit, or just terms in general? Serving in a position, should there be those things set? What do you think? I've been wanting to kind of just get a little brief synopsis on the crypto industry because like I've invested in crypto, kind of put my amount in there and haven't really looked at it. Just looked at it maybe within this last few weeks. I finally and it's growing obviously, but it has its dips, but it has its rises and falls. But overall, what do you think kind of the stigmatism and why people might not be buyers into crypto, or just the whole industry itself?
Well, the biggest thing I think is a lack of regulation. A lot of people pro crypto would say it don't need regulation, but the people who really know crypto, you got to have regulation, just like we do with securities, stocks, stuff like that. So with that, and as more regulation comes in, the more people get more confident. But it's like anything else. I mean, there's different types of, everybody says, so, crypto, is it all currency? Is it all coins? It's like, I always tell people, think of each crypto coin, let's say like Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other Solana. Think of them as companies, like a stock. You're buying stock in a company, and then with each coin, it has its own ecosystem, which also creates other little companies, so it gets really tough. There's meme coins, which they have absolutely no value whatsoever. It's like gambling. So when people buy like meme coins, like like right now there's so many Doge and so on, and Doge is becoming like a real coin. It started like a meme, but now it has a lot of utility and benefits to it. But you just got to do your homework. It's so cliche, do your own research. But if you do your own research and find out, there's white paper, there's so much information on every coin, you're able to make a informed decision. And I found that I'll have 2 bags of something. So I'll have a bag where I trade and one where I hold. And I try to be the smartest guy trading. And for whatever reason, that bag you hold always seems to do the best.
Right.
Because you're not touching it, it's going down, it's going up. But then over time, it keeps going up. We have the Bitcoin halving. That's this month, around the middle of the month. And
what is that? What is that?
Each time Bitcoin halves, it increases the value.
Oh, okay.
Because then there's less available, right? So, and each every 4 years we do that, and we're approaching that in the next few days. Like, Bitcoin's been crashing lately, but it really hasn't, because it hit its all-time high of 73, and now we're back down to 69, and people are thinking, there it goes again, but we were at 30,000 last year, right?
Right.
So it's all relative, but I really see Bitcoin even this month being 75K to 80K, just because of the impact of the halving. And I have no doubt it's gonna, do your own research, not financial advice, but we're gonna easily hit 100K this year, before Christmas. You know, so it is what it is, and when you sell, you lost, right? So that's what I say. Hold on to it. You know, we're willing to make that bet on the Dodgers or the Lakers, and you know, there's all these betting apps, and I get all this criticism. Oh, crypto's a scam. I can't believe you're doing this. As they place their bets, as they buy their lottery tickets, as they buy their scratchers.
Every day, right? They've been buying that scratcher and lotto
you know,
ticket.
when you educate yourself, your risk lowers, you know. And I know there's a lot of people, there's people out there that it's almost like politics where you're afraid to share your political affiliation. There's a lot of people in crypto that won't say they're in crypto just because they don't want that.
It's
want
almost
the
become
hassle.
like a stigma, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, like you're
And
a
then
loony or something.
The hardest part, until it becomes mainstream and easy to use, that's when it'll blow up. What I mean by that is, if I tell somebody about the hottest coin right now, they don't even know where to look for it, how to buy it. Like when you go to Coinbase, crypto.com, basically, those, by the time your coin hits there, it's like insider, it's almost like having the inside scoop on a coin, right? Or like a stock. Once it hits those platforms, it's already has a huge market cap. So the lower the market cap, the bigger chance you have of making that 10x, 50x, 100x on your investment versus getting in right when, you know, it's maxed out.
Right.
So, I mean, I could go on and on, but I always tell people, DM me if you have questions. I don't consider myself, what do you call it, a crypto influencer, only because a lot of crypto influencers are shilling. They're trying to push a coin to make money for their bags and stuff, and then they'll dump it, right? You know, and that's why crypto gets a bad rap. So I try not to do that. I give advice, but I'll say I'm buying it, but I've also lost. I've gained, lost. It's a marathon, you know. It's you have to be diverse in your portfolio. Have some stocks, have some bonds, have some ETFs, have some silver, have some gold, have some crypto. Crypto just seems to be popular, you know. And you know, when I got into crypto, I just called myself Crypto Ray for fun, and then it just kind of took off. And that's when you find out how interested everybody is in crypto. Oh, you're into crypto, and they'll ask. So down the road, I wouldn't mind doing some tutorials, how to buy a coin, what are the difference in digital wallets, you know.
Right.
And, you know, stuff like that. And I think that's where I would be most beneficial than trying to push coins, being an influencer, and then, you know.
I think kind of teaching the foundation and structure will make that your experience and how you invest, it makes you more sound, and that way you're not...
how to research a coin, where to look, you know, where to find it. You know, they all have an address. So even though you can't click it on crypto.com or find it on Coinbase, they all have an address where if you type, because the blockchain is universal. So once you know the address on the blockchain, you're able to buy that coin. So I started with $10, $20, and then as I made profits, you always take profits, take your profits out, buy a little more, and it just keeps building like that. And I have NFTs, I have a lot of stuff going on, but it's done well. It's done well for me, and you know, when you're looking for that little extra income, it's fun. There's some people, some in the circle that have taken my advice, and I always tell them, hey man, if stuff hits the fan, don't blame me. And they're in it and they're doing pretty good, and they thank me all the time. So I'm just like,
well, I think like you mentioned earlier, it's good to just have people who are genuinely interested and want to just see you do well. There's no incentive for them. It's just like any way I can help you be informed to what the possibilities are in this industry, like what you can make out of it, I'm more than willing to help. But there's no like agenda or anything like that.
I've had DMs where from crypto coins I've never heard of, hey, would you help us push this coin? We'll give you so many of these coins if you push it, and you know, things like that. And I've never done that because, yeah, you could probably make some money in the beginning, but once you get that bad rap, nobody wants to touch you.
Your integrity, right? It means
that's
everything.
That's
at Crypto Market Ray. So if any of y'all just, I'm telling you, the guy is informative, and he really stays on top of the latest news and anything that you have.
Speaking about politics, so I can tell you that when I look at politicians, I look at politicians that are more crypto friendly and anti, like regulation, but not trying to shut it down. So.
Right. Did you get a chance to check out the Eclipse at all?
Yes, I sure did. I'm not a big Eclipse guy.
Total eclipse of your heart.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was in front of I put some pictures. I tried to do a video, so it didn't come out good, so I scrapped it. But I put some pictures. I was at the corner bakery getting some food, and I see everybody looking up, and it was hilarious. And then I look closer, and right above them, I see Pearl Vision Eye Care Center, and they're all like messing up their eyes and stuff. I go, man, the irony. I gotta film this. I gotta take pictures, so I ended up just putting the pictures because the video came out bad.
Yeah.
But man,
oh man,
that
the
was pretty
irony
hilarious.
right there.
I'm just like,
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I was excited for it, but I was disappointed that we only got to see the little sliver of it. And so, cause like, I'm really into the astronomy stuff. I'm really into space, and like I look at these little moments as like how minute we are as a species, like how small we are and just how gigantic like our space around us is. So like those little things like that, it just makes me like, man, like in the ancient civilizations, when they see these things, did they think like the world was coming to an end? It's just kind of like
freak them out.
Yeah, I was watching earlier on the news. They had reactions from the animals at one of the zoos in Texas, because when it went dark for that 4 minute, there was a lot of activity by the animals. Like some of them were all scurrying into their homes. Others they say birds were flocking all over the place. They had an ostrich that like laid an egg. Like it was like, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to like how those type of things not only connect to us, but like species in general, So,
But when here it was kind of non-eventful here in California.
Yeah.
At least here in Southern California, but it is funny how people still rally around it and want to check it out. And
my dad was telling me that he had a friend that went out to Texas with his family.
Wow.
They did a whole thing for it. Invited family and all that, was making carne asada. And so I was like, yeah, there's people that, I guess the next one isn't for another 20 years or so.
And Latinos want just a reason to party, bro. Any reason to party, man.
Salud,
Eclipse,
man,
whatever,
salud.
man. They're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Quinceañera,
No matter.
firstborn,
Could be it could be a shooting star streaking the sky.
You got the 1-year-old birthday party with kegs and beer. And 1-year-old don't even know what's going on, man. But yeah.
The battle of the play-in.
Yeah, this is a big game. Well, the last game was a big game, Minnesota.
Yeah, and then
So LeBron James, he had his moment to have his flu game, and he didn't do it.
it was there. It was
And
right there for the taking.
AD, no pun intended, took his eye off the prize, man. I'm big on momentum, and you could just start feeling the house of cards starting to crumble when LeBron had the flu and he wasn't going to play. And, they knew this game was huge, this Minnesota game. So people hate when we compare, but I hate to do it, and people get upset every time, and they say, oh, that's not the same. But it is. Like, Kobe had the flu. You had a big game that's going to affect your seeding, playing a great team like Minnesota. He would have found a way to play, man.
Right.
And guess who woke up from the Warriors? Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
He had like 30 some odd points the other night.
Yeah.
He was on fire.
He's coming.
So now they're like coming together, gelling. So it's going to be interesting. It's a big game, We should beat them, but that's not a given, man. And so
I
now
guess
we're like flirting around with 10th seed, right?
Yeah. The Lakers might be like avoiding the 7th seed or the 7 and 8 because that might lead to them playing Denver in the first round. Because Denver, I think, is in the 2nd seed right now.
Right.
So it's like maybe they're trying to position, because I do think it was, yes, he had the flu, but it was a critical game for them to try and
seemed
win.
pretty
You know what I mean?
strategic, huh?
Yeah, I saw that Minnesota is in first. So it's like, maybe do they feel more comfortable playing Minnesota than they do playing Denver? I don't know.
I don't know, man, but I mean, either way, it's going to come down to can we beat the Kings or the Nuggets, and that's where I think we're going to fall short anyway. So,
Right.
yeah, this is where people say you're a Laker haters. No, it's being realistic, man.
Yeah, it's
the
just-
eye test, what we've seen. I mean, that's what it is, man.
Yeah, I guess you could say like anything's possible, but
Right.
it's just really clinging to something that's not a good recipe towards success.
Right.
But-
You just don't see the end game. You see some possible successes, some possible momentum shifts, but the end game is still really hard to see, like holding the trophy, the finals, and
Right.
you know, I don't know.
But good
All right,
one.
bro.
Another great episode. Appreciate y'all. Circle out.
See ya from the Sunset Room.